listening to Her Profit Era, the podcast for founders who want a business that actually works. A business that's profitable, predictable, and pays them well. I am Cindy Kumar, a CPA, a fractional CFO from Abbotsford, BC, Canada. I'm the person founders call when they're tired of high revenue months with no money left over. I started this podcast because too many founders were chasing sales while their margins, cash flow, and bank accounts told a completely different story. I believe profit and money in the bank is the standard, not a bonus, and that every founder deserves clarity around their numbers. Each week, you'll get real financial strategy you can actually use and honest conversations with founders and industry experts about what it really takes to build a business that lasts. Nothing good comes out of rushing or forcing decisions. So why not just enjoy the process of building and creating in your business? Now, this is something I've been reflecting hard on this year so far, just with how 2025 was so many rushed and forced kind of decisions. I was operating from like scarcity, telling myself I need to get into the room right away. I need to invest in these coaching programs. Basically, I was chasing like this version of a business that I thought I wanted because of what I was seeing on social media. I also had this like revenue goal in mind, and I just felt like I just need to hit it. I just need to get into the rooms. I need to travel to these conferences. I was doing a lot of coffee chats, meeting anybody and everybody, saying yes to everything, even though it didn't make sense cash flow wise. I was also working with like 3 or 4 different coaches throughout the year. Some coaches were at the same time. It was like jumping from one coaching call to the next after the next. And I just didn't give myself the space to actually think like, does this actually make sense for me? Is this how I want to do my sales process? Is this how I want to do content? Or am I copying like someone else? And I was just so panicked, so rushed all the time. And just reflecting back, like since September of last year until like now, I've been operating much slower. I've spent time with my rebranding, doing my websites. I wasn't rushing to launch them for the sake of launching. I knew that it would be something for the long term and that I wanted to make sure like everything looked good, it matched my strategy, and this like newer version of myself, like it's fully aligned. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm not trying to copy anybody, even with the podcast as well. I'm just sharing what feels good and like the strategies I'm sharing. I'm also being more intentional. So just with like going through tax season right now, I bought like a whiteboard. I have all these like strategies and ideas and numbers, client stories I want to share. But I just don't have the capacity to be like creative, actually sit down and like come up with the stories, create the whiteboard, record them. So I'm not rushing to post that kind of content because I need to. I know like once July hits, I'll have more capacity to record that type of content, and I'm not forcing or rushing anything anymore. And I just wanted to remind you about that because we started our businesses to be creative, to build something, but we think that we need to sign up for the coaching programs or work with certain people, and we just need to copy their entire business blueprint in order to hit our sales goals. But the reality is, the business and creating it, like, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to take you time. It's supposed to, like, help you be more creative. Work on yourself, learning where like your limits are. Where does your nervous system still need to be regulated? And I feel like we forget that because we're just trying to rush our timelines. We want the $1 million tomorrow. We think that working with coaches, it's going to collapse the timelines, and it does, but I feel like a lot of us, we just end up losing ourselves in the process and we forget what's important. So just because a coach can show like Stripe screenshots of what they're doing or their lifestyle, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have the same lifestyle or that you need to copy everything that they do word for word, because then you're not running a business that's true to you. Or even like your content, like do what works best for you, share what feels good to you. Don't just copy someone else's ideas. So ask yourself, when was the last time you made a decision where you felt calm, supported, and excited? You weren't rushing it, you weren't forcing it, you weren't trying to get into a coaching program because there's some like sale or deal on. Like those coaching programs are always gonna be there. It's just maybe you don't need it right now, or it just doesn't feel aligned, or you need to do more research. And I feel like we need to normalize making calm decisions that like match your cash flow and like make sense for you. So I just wanted to give you a few steps on what you can do to make more calm and intentional decisions in your life and in your business. So number one is asking yourself, if you're making an investment, why do I want to make this investment? What is it going to do for me? How is it going to support me? If it's going to help you hit a certain revenue milestone or X number of clients or X number of followers, whatever it is, make sure you're tracking all of that. So if you're in like a 3 month or 6 month like coaching program, look at what's happening between those 3 and 6 months. If your goal was to hit 50K months, how close are you to that? And does that coaching program actually make sense? Or are you just in it for the sake of being in it and you're having FOMO? With your content, ask yourself, am I excited to sit down and make this content? Or is it like forced and you're just copying a framework that a coach gave you that doesn't feel good to you? Like, ask yourself those kind of questions. Like, why do I want to make this investment? Why am I doing things this way? Step number two is like create a pause. So before you take out the credit card or you make that big decision, just create some time and space. Often we're just like in panic, rushed, the adrenaline's kicking in, but we don't even know like why we want to make that investment or if it makes sense. So create. Number two is create the pause. Now, number three is asking yourself, do I really want this? Or is it just something I'm seeing on social media or someone told me about? And ask yourself, does it align with the life that you want in like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Like, how is it going to support you on your long term business goal or your personal life goal? Because I feel like we're so tunnel vision with everything. We're just thinking like the next week, the next month, maybe 2 months, 3 months max. But we don't look at the bigger picture, like 5 years from down. How is this coach or this program going to help me with my business 5 years from now or 10 years from now, 15 years? If your goal is to sell the business, like, are you intentionally thinking about those things? Because a lot of people aren't. We're so focused in the now, the dopamine hit, but we need to build some discipline and think about the long term impacts of the things that we're doing. And also just you'll know like the feeling. So if you're rushing or forcing something, like you get this like anxious state in your body, you feel like, okay, I need to do this right now. I need to do this right now. Like you're just overwhelmed. You have so much going on. So you're not in the right capacity or even regulated with your nervous system to even make those kind of decisions. And just reflect back on like everything you've done, whether it's like investments or like even doing things, working with people. When you're in a calm, regulated nervous system, how have those decisions like panned out versus how have those decisions panned out when you're anxious and you're just rushing through things? Like you'll notice a huge difference and you'll start to reflect on that. And then before you make like decisions, now for myself, it's like, okay, like I'm thinking about this or I want to do this, but does it actually make sense with my cash flow, with where I'm at right now? Or is it just like a not yet? Like I do want to do this, but it's not a priority right now. Maybe in 6 months from now or a year from now, like this investment or this coach or this program or whatever it is will still be there. And that's okay. Like just understanding that you're not missing out on anything, you're not going to lose out on opportunities if you make slower decisions. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Share it with a friend who also needs to hear that nothing good comes out of rushing or forcing things. If you're a founder who wants real strategy, not noise, and you want someone in your corner helping you build a business that feels aligned, is profitable, and actually supports your life, you can apply for CFO on Call. This is my one-on-one financial partnership for established founders, typically making between $500K to $2 million, who want clarity, who want structure and confidence with their numbers. The link is in the show notes so you can schedule a profit strategy call, or you can DM me CFO on Instagram at @CindyKamar and I'll send over all the details.